What is up, YouTubes? We are here to talk about Commander Legends and get you ready for your pre-release or draft with this set because, well, hopefully you have one to go to or a close group of friends that you can crack some packs with and draft with. But can I just say how awful COVID is? I got COVID. I'm on the other side of it now, but it's still just lingering. I have this cough, so I may have some weird cuts here, so you have to deal with me coughing all the time. But geez, I miss pre-releases. I miss at least be able to go to a pre-release and not be anxious. Anyway, let's talk about what we need to know for the set. First, when you're drafting, still 3 packs, but those packs now have 20 cards in them, and when you make a selection from it, you take 2 cards, not 1. So you're gonna end up with 60 cards in front of you as opposed to the normal 45-ish, give or take. And you are building not a 40 card deck, you are building a 60 card deck from those 3 packs, which means you're playing, 36, 37 of those cards, depending on what your commanders are and all that good stuff. So yeah, you're getting more cards, you're playing with more cards, you're building a deck with more cards. But all in all, your focus is largely the same as any other draft. Now, it is Commander Legends, but we're building, I guess, more of a Brawl deck, right? Because you're building a 60 card deck, not a 100 card deck. But also, the Singleton rule does not apply to any of these events. It's supposed to be unlikely that you get another common or uncommon or duplicate cards. But if you do, you can play it. If you draft it, you can play it. Just kind of that's the rule. So yeah, those are the structural changes to the draft format for a pre-release or however you're playing this. But of course, if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I'm going to get into the mechanics, the 2 color pairings and what they're trying to do, and then of course end with some tips and tricks to help you have the best time possible in your draft. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Be much appreciated. This is the Commander Legends Draft Guide pre-release video. Let's get into it. And remember to always support your LGS, but if you're going to buy cards online, buy from Card Kingdom. They support the channel, they have the best customer service, and it would be much appreciated. Use my affiliate link in the description below. Now into the mechanics. First, we have a new one in this set, and it's a flavorful one. It's Encore, and it lets you cast the card from your graveyard for its Encore cost. When you do, it's like that final surge. You exile the card, you create a token copy of it for each opponent, and those tokens must attack each opponent if possible. The token is then exiled at the next end step to live on in the hearts and the tails of the onlookers of that final battle. We also have Partner returning, and it is important to note that there are 40 mono-colored commanders, all with Partner. Then there's Prismatic Piper, who's a colorless commander with Partner, meant to be more of that failsafe to make sure you can play all those spells you drafted in case you couldn't find the right color commander to match whatever it is you drafted. We also have Monarch returning, which is great and incentivizes combat because at the end of your turn, if you're the Monarch, you get to draw a card, and everyone likes to draw cards. But if you're not, then you need to get to swinging. And then there's Cascade. When you cast a spell with Cascade, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card whose converted mana cost is less than the spell's converted mana cost that you just cast. So basically you get to cast a card for free that costs less than the spell with Cascade. It feels great when you cast that 6-drop and find another 5-drop you get to play for free. It's kind of meh when you cast something for 6 and you get a free 1-drop. Those are the mechanics. Now let's talk about color pairs and the synergies there with a quick disclaimer. This set is big. It has almost 100 cards more than your typical expansion set, but I want to touch on each of the 10 dual color pairings because I think there's still plenty of value in understanding what each is trying to do. Plus, you'll also find a lot of these are rather similar to other archetypes we've seen in recent expansion sets. Like blue-white flyers. Evasion is always good, and countering commanders is a quick way to get that rage quit of a win. Some of you may know what I'm talking about if you play Brawl on Arena. Blue-black is self-mill and focuses quite a bit on Encore. That's kind of where they get their value, is in that graveyard recursion, using the Encore cards as part of that combo. Black-red is focused on sacrificing things, and it has this odd sense of humor, where they're even willing to give you stuff to sacrifice, but at the end of the day, they end up with all the value. Red-green is power matters. They want to be big and scary, and this probably has to be the most consistent or in line with what we've seen for years now out of this archetype. White-green is 1/1 counters. You can go wide, you can go tall, and then smash things. Or as we'll see with white, they like to make a lot of tokens, so with this archetype, put a lot of counters on them, and then life's easy. White-black is also somewhat token-focused, so you're making tokens and then doing something with them, like sacrificing them or using them to ping your opponent. It's dirty work, but quite effective. And then there's white-red, which is focused on equipment and auras. You can even go the token route here as well and get value from them by having them wield the equipment as opposed to just making them bigger with counters. But all in all, white, red, aggro color combo. You've seen it before, you're seeing it here. Blue-green is big spells matter, with the largest focus being on Cascade. The bigger the spell you cast with Cascade, hopefully, the more value you get from it. And keep in mind, this archetype will want ramp as much as any other. If you wind up in this archetype, best of luck to you when you finally get to Cascade. And then two of the more fun ones, because I'm just a huge fan of tribal. First is blue-red, which is pirate tribal. We want to steal what our opponent is doing, use what they have to our benefit. It seems pretty piratey to me, and of course, they have enough interaction to get away with whatever plundering shenanigans they're getting into. And last is green-black, and it's elf tribal. And again, huge fan of this. These elves seem awesome. They're also quite vicious, removing everything that's not an elf while trying to build their board out bigger and better. So there's the brief overview of the archetypes. Now, let's start thinking about how are we going to strategize for this draft. And to review, I want to dive a bit more into the commander situation first. Again, we have 40 monocolor commanders with one colorless get out of jail free card commander. There's also a gold 2-color commander for all the 2-color pairings and a 3-color commander for all the 3-color pairings. So yeah, there's a ton of options and combinations that could happen in every draft. But in my mind, when I sit down, I'm assuming I'm playing 2 colors. But hey, this is a commander draft, and if you want to go crazy, you could even go monocolor. But if you do, you have to come back and let me know how that went. I would definitely be curious to hear how that all worked out. But if it seems viable to you, I say go for it, because this is a fun set. Commander is the most fun format, and if you see a line that works for you, follow your heart, try and make that dream a reality. There's no such thing as jank in a commander draft. Everything can work here. That was a nice little ramble bit there, but back to what I was talking about. The 3-color commanders, I think, can be nice to pick up early or late as well in a draft. They can work out late because they can just help you splash in your more powerful spells and just have a more top end or add to the top end of your deck. If you pick them up early, it can just help you not be so anxious about weighing all 5 colors and just help you focus in on those 3. Or if you just don't want to commit to a lane too early and you're unsure of what to pick, mana fixing and mana ramp is always going to be a solid choice. This is this is commander, so everyone's going to want to ramp into their big and powerful spells no matter what colors they're playing. So of course we have land and artifacts to help us do just that because yeah, it's commander. But here's my biggest tip. Let me just take a quick step back. My biggest tip for drafting, I mean really any set like this, is first look at the card prices. Because if you open something that's worth $50+, you're going to want to take that card. Like no matter what's happening in your draft, if you open Mana Drain, you should take Mana Drain because it just paid for the entire event and then some. And when I open up something that's really good, or I should say valuable like that, it just helps me relax more because I've basically paid for the event. I've got something that I'm going to use beyond the event, you know what I mean? So I can take that step back, I can just relax and enjoy everything that's happening even more so. Definitely check the card prices before you crack that first pack. So at least you know what the top 5-10 cards are in the set and you're not passing someone a $50 bill. I think I just kind of look at drafting, especially a set like this that I'm really going into, I'm just trying to have a fun time. And if I'm trying to have a fun time, I have like this hierarchy of needs that I'm trying to hit. If it's the most valuable card or one of the most valuable cards in the set, that puts it at the top of my list of things to take. Next are cards that I know I want or need for another deck or that I'm going to use beyond the event. So it's like value, it's playability now and after the event, and then it kind of comes down to what are cards that are just going to be fun for my collection or cards I know I'll use after this event. Because if I'm going to use them after the event, chances are I'll use them in the draft. And early on, you got to just keep in the back of your mind too, you're going to draft 60 cards and only play 36, 37 of them, give or take. So you're going to have 20+ cards that you're not going to play with. So not using all of your early picks isn't really a big deal. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to stay fixated on your initial picks. You're really looking for, I guess, yeah, go through that hierarchy. Valuable cards, cards you know you want or need, cards that you want in your collection or cards that you're going to play with. And then at the bottom of that, I guess it's just cards that you think are going to be fun. Because again, it should be a fun time. Find the cards that look fun or give you a strategy that seems fun to try and play or pull off or just win with. Another tip, and this is probably more so for newer players or people that are just impatient like myself, but there's going to be a lot of reading. When you open up a pack of 20 cards with a ton of new cards in this set, you know, if you're experienced, you can filter through cards a lot quicker. But if you're newer, you're probably reading every line of text on that card. You're thinking of any and everything possible. So just everyone out there, be ready to be patient during these drafts. Yes, we're picking 2 cards each, so things should move a little quicker. But with there just being so many cards, I think that reading time will slow things down, and especially if you got newer players in your pod, we should all take a step back and enjoy being in that space. Can you remember when you opened those packs and you just loved all the art, you loved everything that was happening? Now you're overwhelmed with how pushed everything is, how there's more text on cards, how everything's just over and above, and yeah, patience is going to be a virtue in these events. Another tip is if you're just confused on what to pick or what card seems good, if you're seeing cards that you've seen other players play in Commander or in other decks, they've probably played them because they're good and worth playing, and they've been reprinted in this set, but that means that they're still good and worth playing. So something like Phyrexian Rager or Filigree Familiar, these are my thinking fingers. Artifact Dog that gains you life and helps you draw cards. Like, those are just solid playables that work if you're in those colors or just want to pick a colorless card. They're just solid value cards. So to review everything we've talked about, you're drafting with 3 booster packs. Each booster pack has 20 cards. You're picking 2 cards each time, and you're building a 60 card deck at the end of it. Every pack will have a rare, a foil, and then 2 legendary commanders in it. So if you do the math, there's going to be close to 50 commanders going around the table or being opened up at that table. So you should be able to get, let's just say, multiple opportunities to find the commander or commanders or colors of partners with commanders that you need at multiple times in the draft. You should be able to find what you need, but you need to also be ready to pull the trigger and say, look, I'm going red, I'm taking this red commander, and if I find a better option, great, but at least I have it. And some random fear I have is there's going to be someone that just wants to grab every commander that comes their way, and they don't care how it impacts their deck. But then what happens is the other 7 players in that pod or whoever else is there are now scrambling to find any playable commanders. I could see that being like a worst case scenario, but I don't think that's going to happen. I hope, don't do that. Just, we all want to have fun. Let everyone have some fun. Build the best deck you can. Don't just take all the commanders because you can. There's a random thought for you. Anyway, when it comes to drafting, make sure you know the value of cards before you jump into it. Make sure you have an idea of like what cards you want or are looking for or are excited about, and just be ready to go through that hierarchy of value. Will play this, want this for other decks. You know what I mean? Be ready to know when it's okay to take a card and when it's okay to focus on the deck you're building. And then it's a pre-release. Most importantly, we all just need to be ready to have fun and laugh. And if we get the moment and this opportunity to play with friends and people at an LGS, just enjoy it, because not everyone gets to. And if you get to, I'm happy for you. I hope it's an awesome time. I hope this video helps you. So again, if you wouldn't mind, like, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm gonna have more videos coming out. One around like the finance of this set, because I know that with the collector boxes and stuff, I've been paying more attention to how sets are doing and value and such. And I want to talk about that a bit more, so definitely keep an eye out for that kind of stuff. If you have any questions, I'm always interested in helping y'all out, so definitely leave me a comment. And last but not least, support that LGS, because they need you now more than ever. But if you're going to buy online, buy from Card Kingdom. They support the channel. They help make all this content possible. Thank you to Card Kingdom. Use my affiliate link. They know I sent you. You know, like, you're going to be happy. They're going to be happy. I'll much appreciate it. There you go. Thank you to my patrons for making this channel possible, for making this content possible as well. Y'all are awesome. I can't say it enough. And last but not least, thank you to you for watching. Again, stay safe. Have a great time. Hope you get to play with your friends and enjoy the set. It seems awesome. I want to say thank you to Colibre. He's the guy that has this banger of an outro track for all my videos. He just sent it to me randomly. Dude's awesome. Anyway, I'm going to hopefully quit coughing here. I really appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take it easy. Peace.